Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible stories. I'd been living abroad for 8 whole years before I finally headed back to surprise my little girl. But rather than getting a warm embrace, I walked in on her down on her knees scrubbing the floor in ragged old clothes as my son-in-law and his buddies just chuckled away. That's my budget maid right there, so I figured I'd hit them with a different kind of shock, the sort that had flipped their world upside down for good. Hold on a sec before I keep going. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the channel and drop a comment telling us where you're tuning in from. Those roads in Lakewood seemed a lot narrower than what stuck in my memory. It had been a full 8 years since I'd cruised through this area last. Way back then, the trees weren't as tall, and that home at the tip of Maple Drive was just my daughter's alone. I'd offloaded 3 car fix-up spots up in Calgary to snag that house for her. Every buck I'd squirreled away over 3 decades, I passed it along with a big grin. She got all teary when I handed her those keys. She was 24 at the time, right out of school, chattering on about the flowers she'd grow and the front deck she'd spruce up. That rental ride reeked of fake evergreen scent. I'd touched down in Denver earlier that day, grabbed the 4-door, and spent about 3/4 of an hour practicing my lines for the big reveal. Happy birthday, my sweet girl. Figured I'd drop by face-to-face this time around. We could chat about why you seemed so worn out during our latest video chat. I made the turn onto Maple Drive. The place was a few spots along, a simple 2-level with shutters I'd helped her color blue one warm season. But those shutters had lost their blue hue now, or perhaps it was hidden under all the grime and flaking bits. I eased off the gas. The grass out front had turned into a mess, with dead spots creeping everywhere like some kind of blight. A big split ran through the main window. The rose plants Celeste adored were all twisted up and fading against the base of the house. A chill hit me right in the gut. I pulled over to the side and just sat gripping the steering wheel. This wasn't the home I'd pictured in my mind. This didn't match the picture she'd painted during our regular monthly talks. Things are going swell, Dad. We're just swamped with jobs. Leo's a great guy. We've got plans to redo the kitchen soon. The entry door was cracked open a bit. I snagged my bag from the back and strolled up the walkway, dodging old papers turned yellow from the elements. The deck plank dipped under my steps. Through that little opening in the door, I caught some chatter. Guys hollering over whatever was on the TV, sports play-by-play blending with the sound of clinking drinks. I nudged the door wider, real slow. It didn't make a peep. The hinges stayed smooth, as if folks popped in and out all the time without much fuss. The foyer led straight into a corridor. Pictures of the family lined the walls, but they hung all crooked. One had a busted frame. The whole place smelled musty, like no fresh air had come through in ages. I placed my bag down gentle-like and perked up my ears. The talk was drifting from the den on my left, but another noise grabbed me, a steady back-and-forth wiping from farther down the passage. I edged ahead. My boots stayed hushed on the wooden planks. And there she was. Celeste, down on her knees smack in the middle of the hall, hunched over a pail of sudsy water, working the floor hard with both hands. Her locks dangled free, greasy, and covering her features. She had on baggy pants and a worn tee ripped at the seam, showing skin dotted with marks, those ugly purple and yellow ones, new enough to still sting. Her limbs looked skinny, skinnier than ever before, with more spots on her joints and cuffs shaped like grip marks. My fingers grabbed the door edge. The bag's grip dug into my skin. She hadn't spotted me yet. She just kept at it, like a machine, probably for hours on end. Her back curved in a way that made her seem tiny, fragile even. This was my kid, my little one who'd scamper up branches and tinker with engine parts alongside me in the shop. This was the gal who'd finished top of her class and dreamed of starting her own advice business. From the den, a fellow's tone sliced through, harsh and teasing. Hey, you skipped that bit by the edge, honey. Want me to demonstrate the right way to scrub once more? Some other guy chimed in, sounding fresh-faced with a snicker. Wow, you've got her dialed in perfect. The main voice piped up stronger, full of scorn. What else is there to say? Folks like that are meant for chores. Pick up the pace, my bargain worker. Company's here, and that mark's still there. Celeste jerked a little. Her palms sped up across the planks, the cloth swirling in damp loops on wood that already shone clean. I'm doing my best, she murmured, almost too soft to catch. Sorry about that. Everything zeroed in on that corridor, my girl on the ground, the marks through the ripped fabric, and how she said sorry to a guy treating her like dirt. I'd gifted her this roof over her head. I'd chatted with Leo a couple times online, grinned, and wished them well on their wedding. I'd wired cash when she mentioned fixes were needed. I'd bought her story that all was good. My grip tightened white on the bag handle. The anger surging in was icy, precise, not the fiery kind from my younger days. This was a dad's deep wrath for not shielding his own. This was waking up to the fact I'd left her with a bully and turned my back. I stepped closer. The plank groaned under me. Celeste's gaze shot up. Her eyes bulged when she locked on me. Not happy, not eased, just straight up scared. "Dad," it choked out of her. She let go of the cloth, got up quick, and came at me with palms raised like blocking a crash. "What are you doing here? You gotta leave now. Please." Her features, clear as day now, looked rougher than her limbs. A mark bloomed over her cheek, faded green-yellow around, dark purple in the middle. Her bottom lip had a cut, crusted up. As she grabbed for me, her digits shook. "Celeste?" My words came out tougher than planned. "What's going on here? What did they do to you?" She waved her head wild, peeking back at the den. "You shouldn't be here. Head out immediately. I'll ring you soon. I'll fill you in." "Just go, please. Who the heck are you?" I glanced right by my little girl. This guy was planted there at the hall's opening, gripping a brew in one mitt, the other pawing at his belly through a grubby white shirt. He was a tall drink, probably pushing 6'2", with a meaty neck and that easy cocky strut from never getting pushed back. His stare brushed me off, like I was some random peddler who'd stumbled into the wrong joint. "Anybody buzz you into my pad?" He shuffled closer, plunking the brew on the side stand. Trailing him, a pair of other fellas popped up at the den's entry, just scoping things out. I sidestepped around Celeste, planting myself as a barrier between them. "Your pad?" "I'm Porter Hudson, Celeste's old man." A quick shift hit his face. He clocked me, then mulled it over, before cracking a nasty, dragged-out grin. "Oh, the big-name dad from up in Canada." He stretched big name like it was a punchline. "Finally showed your mug." "Well, Gramps, this is my spot now. My lady, my calls." The way he dropped my knot at my gut, like she was just his stuff, like the home I'd scraped for over 30 years of grind had flipped to his the instant he ringed her up. "Your lady's sporting some bad marks?" I kept my tone even, and hushed. Feel like spelling that out? He just cracked up, straight up guffawed. Then his look went rock hard, and he edged nearer, close enough for the brew stink to hit my nose. "Feel like spilling while you barged into my place?" "That's busting in, Pops." "Henry?" He flicked a glance at one buddy. "Dial the law. We got an uninvited guest." "Dad, come on." Celeste's words splintered. She snagged my sleeve, tugging me to the exit. "Just split. It's okay. All good here." I wheeled to her, and the raw plea in her gaze slammed me tougher than any of Leo's jabs. She wasn't calling for a rescue. She was desperate for me to bail and leave her stuck with him. "Okay." I couldn't mask the shock in my words. "Check yourself out." Leo lunged, swift for his build. His clamp locked on my arm, and he rammed me hard at the front entry. I'm hitting 64, and he's mid-30s, so the force had me reeling back. I braced on the door edge to catch myself. "She told you to beat it." Leo snarled, his face right up in mine. "This is my domain, old-timer. The doc's got my name stamped. If you don't want big headaches, scram now." I could have thrown a swing. A piece of me itched for it. But 3 on 1. And I'd tangled enough to spot rotten chances. Beyond that, I needed the full lay of the land. Needed to plot. I peered around Leo at Celeste. She lingered in the corridor, hugging herself tight, eyes on the floor. She wouldn't meet my gaze. "We'll sort whose pad this really is," I murmured low. Leo bulldozed me out the entry. I steadied on the deck, heard him bash the door shut, heard the latch snap. I hung there a beat, my bag still inside, my kid locked in with that jerk. Then I trudged to the rental and hopped in. My fingers quivered, cranking the motor. Not spooked, just fury so clean it fogged my sight edges. I eased from the curb slow, keeping tabs on the pad in the mirror. Leo showed at the front glass, arms crossed, eyeing me off like he'd claimed a prize. "The doc's got my name stamped." That line bounced in my skull as I cruised to the block's end and hooked the turn. I parked, cut the engine, and clutched the wheel till my joints throbbed. I'd snagged that pad. Every spike, every roof bit, every scrap of that ground came from my bucks, my sweat, my give-ups. And somehow, in 2 wedded years, he'd sneaked his name on the title. He'd warped my gift to my girl into a chain to rein her in. Those marks weren't oopsies. The flinch at his bark. The begging me to bounce instead of seeking aid. This dragged a while, long enough she'd quit pushing back. Long enough she figured she earned it, or nobody could pull her out, or ditching would crank it worse. My cell sat in my pocket. Could have rung the cops, flagged the home harm. But Celeste stared with those spooked eyes and claimed all peachy. She'd shield him, knew it, and he'd block my path to her forever. Needed hard facts, needed an edge, needed the exact mess before stepping. I rolled from the curb and cruised. No spot aimed, just motion to hold the anger from swallowing me. Afternoon rays threw long shadows over the roads. Back in that pad, my girl likely caught flack for my drop-by. Back there, Leo drilled who's boss. I wasn't heading north. Not yet. Not till I'd yanked back all he'd nabbed. I cruised into downtown Denver as the sun dipped past the peaks, tinting the heavens in bronze and soot shades. The Hampton Inn hunkered on a lively corner, the type budget travelers hit. I signed in, grabbed the card from a desk guy who barely glanced, and rode the lift to floor 4. Room 412 was basic. Tan walls, tough rug, big bed with deep red cover that's seen tons. I dumped my bag on the rack and plopped mattress edge, eyeing the bolted fuzzy peaks art. My cell hummed. Text from strange digits. Dad, me, stay away. Please don't stir this up worse. I scanned that message 3 times before flipping the cell screen down on the bedside table. She'd snagged my digits from our chat logs, reaching out just to shove me further off. I cracked open my laptop instead and punched in Denver real estate lawyer. The display jammed with names, outfits, pro pics of folks in fancy threads vowing wins. I poked through a few, scanning feedback, vetting backgrounds till I landed on Bernice Cole's crew. 15 years tangling over land disputes, ex-DA. Feedback tossed terms like unstoppable and detailed. I shot off an email at 8:30 that eve. Urgent meet needed on shady land scam and gift title break. Cover usual fees. Hit back fast. While hanging, I yanked out a tiny pad I'd grabbed at a fuel stop coming in. I scribbled all I recalled from the deal a decade back. The gift title, the wrap-up at the title spot, the bit the rep tossed casual about home living only, kin stay. I dug my email history, hunting Celeste pad title. Pages of hits, scrolled to the one. PDF add-on from March 2015. Header, congrats on your girl's fresh spot. I saved it, ran copies at the inn's print area down the corridor, the gizmo buzzing empty at 9 sharp. Sheets dropped out, I poured over 'em under the buzz lights. Bam, page 2 middle, spot for main kin home soul, no biz ops, rent or loan bait, sans my okay. Blanked on that rule. Title guy slipped it for shield, routine gift dodge, tax mess. Then, just paper hassle. Now, my hook, cell pinged. Note from Bernice's team, she fits you tomorrow 9 morn. Tote all key stuff. Next day, road lift to floor 23 in shiny high-rise blocks for my stay. Bernice's setup had tall glass eyeing town, leather seats, fancy wood desk pricier than my first wheels, mid-40s, hair tied, charcoal outfit custom cut. Mr. Hudson, shake firm biz, spill the mess. Pushed title her way. Specs on, skimmed, face from meh to keen. Boy-in-law, no original title, she noted. Jumped on 2 years back, post-wed. You greenlight? No clue till yesterday. Dropped sheet, palms crossed. Mr. Hudson packs more wallop than most. If he dangled pad for biz cash, snapped gift rules. Fight his hold? How long? Hinges on his push. Months if digs. Start up $5,000, hour 350. Whipped checks, cutting now. Kick off how? First, snag proof pad. Biz use. Loans, firm sign, any Lakewood tie his build outfit. Next 2 weeks, I ghosted. Cruised county file spot, asked Lakewood logs. Clerk weary 50s, yanked file, let phone snap pages. Leans shifts tweaks, bam. 18 months old logged lean Rocky Mount gear cash, $75K. Borrower Leo Spencer builds LLC. Backing home Lakewood. Snapped build zones, Spencer builds rigs mud idle. Cruised Lakewood pad, varied times, no halt, just scope. 1 noon firm truck drive, Pawnlands $40 nabbed biz papers dash spread. Header pegged Lakewood, rang Bernice from Lakewood brew joint eyeing pad blocks off. Got it, I said. County shows lean pad, $75K Rocky Mount gear cash. App listed biz backup Spencer builds. Pleased vibe phone, our need, draft demand note. 3 days on back her spot, slid packet shiny desk. Ship certified today, she said. Snags tomorrow. Hang then. Hefted it. Solid feel. Opener. Bernice rang 3 days later, mid-Joe pour room. Mute news back. Grabbed note yesterday noon, jumped in. Clock ticks. 30 days fix, or sue. I placed the Joe maker down real gentle. Odds he clears that lien? Slim. He'd got a refi or cough up the full loan. From what we dug on his outfit's reds, neither's probable. Post-call, I parked at the tiny desk, picturing Leo ripping that packet, spotting the law outfit stamp, scanning the ask. Hoped it tanked his morn meal. At the Lakewood pad, it wrecked worse. Didn't catch it live, but pieced later from Celeste's spill. Open files, the chain that followed. Leo cracked the sealed mail in the den. Henry lounged next on the sofa, both swigging brew though hardly 10 morn. Leo eyed it once, snorted, chucked on the low table. "Your dad's lame," he barked at Celeste, dish scrubbing in the cook area. "Things scare me. My pad? Sunk effort here. Ditched you 8 years, now plays savior." Celeste wiped palms on a rag, tone soft. "Maybe lawyer chat. Got one." Leo flicked note off. "Zilch. Old guy's fit." But 2 hours on, Leo hunkered in Tom Brewster's tight spot over a subjoint in Aurora. No match Bernice's city high-rise. Tom 50-ish thin hair, coffee-marked neckwear, type for minor firm deals and tickets. Tom scanned note twice. Face sour. "Leo, this ain't zilch," he noted. "If first title strings you snapped, they got legs. When stake pad? 2 years back. Gear need. Pad both names. My right. Wife no stake it. Leo quiet. Why matter?" Tom leaned seat squeak. "Matters motive. Look fix this or gear war, war's cost." Next 10 days, Leo chased fix. Strode Mountain State Credit top shirt, clean shave, oozing winter contractor vibe. Sat facing Patricia Sanchez loan pro warm eyes, 15 years sniffing duds. Slid refi app over. She checked face pro blank to sorry. "Regret, Mr. Spencer," she said. "Debt pile late pays, block this big refi. But backing solid. Pad 450K. Issue no backing. Repay skill. Outfit bled cash last half year. Hit 2 banks credit spot shark lender 15% rate cash couldn't swing if okayed, which no. Spencer builds swam red 180K gear loans, unpaid bills, 3 tapped cards. Leo juggled 6 months shift funds, stubborn tricky books afloat. Demand yanked Matt. 2 weeks post note late Thursday eve. Cell rang, strange digits, near skipped. "Dad," Celeste hush whisper, sync run loud back. "Celeste." Bolted bed pulse up. "Okay? Please." Tone split. "Drop this." He's wrecking stuff. Yelling. "Please." "Celeste, this for you. Can't spot yet, but no miss it. Crash far." Leo muffled rage. "Who yapping?" "Gotta go." Line dead. Redial fast. Voicemail straight. Stood in window forehead, cool glass, eyeing Denver lights like bored. Out there and saved for pad, my girl shook caused me my push, but halt she'd trap eternal. Tapped Bernice line. Past midnight texted anyhow. Push. Sue post 30. No drags. Reply zipped. Got. Parked cell ledge-eyed town. Mirror self dark pain. 64-year vet figured gift pad shielded her. Across town, labor paid pad. Girl feared. But soon no. Soon Leo grasp swipe from Taker Back Pro. Bernice's line buzzed mid-title flip review. Peaked screen face tight pro spot snag. "What?" I quizzed. "Spun cell. Boy-in-law seeks no contact order." I scanned that alert twice over. Leo Spencer up against Porter Hudson. Request for no contact order. Claims of bothering, warnings, unasked entry into their home spot. "He's aiming to fence you off," Bernice noted as she set the cell down. "Clever play, really. If he bags this, you gotta steer clear of the pad during our title battle. Can he pull it off? Hinges on what proof he tosses out." "You warn him any during the face-off?" I flashed back to that door clash. I said we'd sort whose pad it was. "That's it. Fuzzy enough. We'll push back." She tapped up her schedule. "Meet late April, 3 weeks out. Till then, dodge the spot." Those 3 weeks, I geared up. If Leo played guard, I'd flank from other sides. Jefferson County Tax Office sat in a plain gov build off Route 6. Parked public, spent 2 hours at a screen in the file room digging tax bases. All open for any hunter. Pay trail, value sets, liens. Lakewood pad owed $8,500 back taxes, 2 years piled. Leo skipped since claiming. That even my in, I penned nameless note. Straight facts, spotted address owes $8,500 taxes. Owner Leo Spencer, tax code. Mailed from Aurora Post next morn. Then eyed Leo's biz reds. Open files showed Spencer builds LLC liens from bunches of lenders. Listed 'em, hunted contacts, started rings. Jim Hriss ran Denver Build Supply, storage op in Commerce City. Met his messy spot, catalogs bills rack stacked. "Here Leo owes you $85K, I cut in." Jim leaned, seat groan. Word spreads. "Yep, ows. Oh, 4 months late. Threat suit, but lawyers eat bucks, and Spencer's likely suit-proof. Buy that debt. Browse up. Why snag? He no pay. My motives. 60K cash. 70 cents dollar today." Jim eyed me wheels turn. "No, he'll flake still. My issue, not yours. Deal? 30 secs ponder. Pulled file. Papers coming. Same pitch Randy Cooper mount gear rent. 55K debt. Paid 35. Weekend owned 140K Leo tabs. No contact meet gray Tuesday morn. Court tiny dozen gallery seats. Leo with Tom 1 desk rumpled suits worn. Bernice me other. Judge Sarah Matthews ruled stern 50s chain specs. Scanned plea we wait. Mr. Brewster, she broke, client claims bother warnings. Show proof. Tom Rose, tie tweak. Honor, Mr. Hudson dropped unasked client's pad, tossed threats since junk suit bug client wife. Judge peered, specs me. Mr. Hudson, true enter no invite? Rose. Yes, honor birthday, surprise my girl. Found hurt spooked. Bernice glided up. Honor picks that day, bad marks Mrs. Spencer's face limbs. Worry valid, slid Prince bench. Snapped phone first day barely think, just log scene, now proof. Judge eyed face stiff. Troubling. Mr. Brewster client explain hurts? Tom shuffled sheets. Client says wife clumsy slip. Denying no contact, judge sliced. Weak proof bother warnings, but eyed both. Stick law paths, no direct, through lawyers, got. We nodded. Leo paled. Hit courthouse steps, April raise, Bernice bottom shades on. Next. Quizzed. Yanked debt shifts case. Now his lender collect time. Grin quick keen. Demand drafting. Dipped head tucked papers. Across town, Leo clueless incoming, but soon. Bernice rang week later, please tone. Debt note hit morn. Signed his work. Sat in desk, Joe cooling laptop side. How quick reply? Smart now. Desperate haggle. Gave 30 days. Lacks 140K. No, Bernice said. Point exact. Rang 2 days on. He touched base. He wants to haggle a pay setup. And I shot back no, full cash in 30 days, or we push for forced bust on Spencer builds. I caught some noise on her end during the chat. Sheets rustling, a slam shut. He came off rattled. In the weeks after, I stayed on top of things. Not up close, though. The judge's heads up was crystal, but I had tricks for info grabs. Open files, biz logs, and Bernice's Build World pals picked up whispers. Leo's outfit crumbled quicker than I figured. 2 big accounts, Mount View Homes and Denver West Builds, yanked their deals. Buzz said Spencer Builds lagged on times, shoddy work everywhere, too many shortcuts. When cash bleeds out, slips happen. Slips drop accounts. Drop amps the bleed. Bernice's prober, ex-legal aid Rita freelancing firms, updated me every couple days. His hands bailed. Rita spilled over Joe at a eatery by the court. 3 weeks late wages. Lead guy ditched a site with the full crew. When? Yesterday. Left Leo mid-base poor, nobody to rap. I swirled my Joe, pondering his gear, trying to offload it. Hit 3 sellers this week, issue most loaned. Nabbed 30K free stuff, but that's peanuts for your 140 OA. 30 from 140. Numbers harsh straight. Rita flashed her cell pics from open spots. Leo's work spot dark midweek day. Truck at Lakewood pad 2 p.m. should be sight. He's cracking, she noted. I pored over pics. Keep eyes. That eve, Bernice forwarded Leo's fresh plan beg. Her reply, 3 lines. Stance same. Full 140K and 30 from first ask. Miss and bust file. 2 weeks post-debt note Rita rang with twist. Your boy-in-law tried you, she said. Not straight. Rang my spot for your digits. Wanted personal talk. What told? All through lawyer per judge. Paused. Sounded sauced, Mr. Hudson. 3 p.m. Thanked hung. Sat window-eyeing Denver outline. Out there, Leo unraveled biz-dying reds, crush paths, 0. Tiny bit, not proud, felt good. Price hurt my loved, but other bit, recall Celeste, scared hush late, call felt rush. Needed total smash he worsened her. Rita sent last intel late April. Parked far Lakewood, no judge break, snapped Leo Henry out 10 p.m. wobbly. Hit bar 3 blocks, dusty boot dive. There till shut, Rita said. 2 a.m. Henry drove. Leo near no walk. Next morn back, bought barkeep brew casual quiz. He recalled hard miss. Leo loud bitter rant, someone tank biz. Kept say debts bought. Barkeep told Rita yapped old guy snatch all. Pal hushed but louder. Read Rita's twice. Leo got my game. Saw system tear. Knew I aimed his all. Good. Let spot coming. Last April day 30. Exact post-debt note Leo last shot. Rang Bernice's offered 30K gear cash plus note rest 110K over 5. Bernice no check me. Nixt emailed bust file tomorrow. Paste in window eyeing far peaks. Snow caps white blue sky. Leo one night pre-world end. In my girl's bought pad Celeste waited. Nightmare close wait. Free wait. 1 push she'd be. Bernice eyed files my Tuesday morn late May arrival. City behind tall glass, shiny, uncaring. He flaked, no lookup. 30 expired yesterday, no cash, no touch zilch. Sat facing. Next, pushed sheet desk. This morn hit. Jefferson tax slapped lean Lakewood. 8,500 unpaid taxes. Grabbed skimmed. County quick post my nameless nudge weeks back. How long? 90 pay or tax sale. But title spat rolling muddies. Drop sheet thinking or clears. Offer him. Cover tax drop 40K debt. He bounces pad signs quit title. Bernice eyed over specs. Kind, more than earned. Not kind. Girl out that pad. She gave a slow nod, the kind that told me she got exactly why I was pushing this. I'll get it drafted today. The offer shipped out that afternoon. Tom Brewster rang Leo less than an hour after it landed. I wasn't listening in, but Bernice filled me in later, painting the picture clear as day. How Leo stalked back and forth in that cramped little office of his, voice climbing higher with every line Tom read out loud. What the heck? He expects me to just pack up and walk away? Sign over every claim to the house? Tom tried staying calm, pointing out the deal. Me covering the tax lien and wiping out 40 grand of what he owed. Leo, that's 60,000 bucks you're walking away from if you say no. You really ought to think this through. Leo shot back that it was nothing but blackmail, that I was holding the place hostage like some crook. Tom pushed again, reminding him it was a straight-up legal settlement, and truth be told, his choices were running real thin. Leo didn't even pause. Tell him flat no. Tell that old guy I'm not budging an inch. This is my house, dang it. Bernice passed all that along to me that same evening while I stood staring out my hotel window at the streetlights flickering on below. I felt a cold satisfaction settle in my chest, knowing he was digging his own hole deeper, but mostly I just felt tired of the whole mess. He'll lose the place anyway, I told her. Yeah, she agreed, but he's too stubborn or too blind to see it coming yet. The next day I made a different kind of call, skipping Bernice altogether. I dialed up Denver's building and safety folks, got somebody in code enforcement on the line, and played it real casual, just asking how a regular guy goes about reporting possible issues on job sites. The lady was polite as could be, explained everything clear, reports can stay anonymous, inspectors check out anything that sounds legit. I'd been hanging on to every update Rita sent over, all those notes about Leo rushing jobs, skimping on materials, doing whatever it took to keep his sinking ship afloat a little longer. I sat down that night, put together a neat list of addresses, dates, the shortcuts I'd heard about, and fired it off to the city without a name attached. 3 days later, this inspector named Luis Rodriguez rolled up to one of Leo's sites over in Aurora, hard hat on, clipboard in hand, camera swinging from his neck. Leo was out there barking orders at the handful of guys still showing up. Rodriguez took his time walking the foundation, snapping pictures of the wiring, flipping through permit records on his tablet. These footings aren't up to code, he told Leo straight out. Where's the sign-off for the pour? Leo started scrambling, swearing the inspector had already okayed it, that the papers were somewhere in his truck. Rodriguez wasn't having it, no record anywhere. Then he pointed at the electrical panel, said whoever touched that wasn't licensed, plain and simple. Leo begged, promised he could fix whatever needed fixing, but Rodriguez just shook his head. Stop work order, right there on the spot. Hire a real electrician, get those footings re-inspected, maybe even ripped out and redone, file for new permits. Oh, and here's a $15,000 fine for working without him. Over the next week, Rodriguez hit 2 more of Leo's sites. Same story every time. Violations stacked up, red stickers slapped on gates and doors, more fines piling on like snow in a blizzard. Rita kept the photos coming. Leo parked outside one shutdown job, just sitting in his truck staring at nothing, looking like the fight had gone clean out of him. Leo on the phone pacing, face red while some client chewed him out. Leo fishing that crumpled settlement offer out of a trash can like he couldn't quite let it go. Then, out of nowhere, my phone rang one afternoon. Henry's name popping up. I still had it from some old contact list Rita dug up. Shocked me enough that I answered. You don't know me personally, he started, but I'm Leo's buddy, and I'm asking you man to man. Back off. Back off what? Whatever you're pulling, he's coming apart at the seams. He knows it's you behind the debts, the taxes, these inspections. You're all he talks about anymore. I kept my voice steady. You're right, it is me. Long pause on his end. Look, I didn't know what went on between you two, but Leo hurt my little girl for 2 solid years. That's the whole story. Another stretch of silence, like the words finally sank in. I honestly didn't realize it was that bad. Well, now you do. I ended the call right there, heart thumping harder than I cared to admit. Bernice rang that same night while I picked at some takeout Chinese at my little desk, food going cold. He turned the offer down flat, in writing no less, and went ahead and filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy this afternoon, trying to shield the house as his main residence. I set my fork down, appetite gone. Can he even do that? Not if we prove how he wormed his name onto the deed in the first place, fraud and coercion. We'll need Celeste on the stand to make it stick. I closed my eyes, feeling the weight of what that meant, picturing my girl having to face him in open court, reliving every bruise and harsh word. That was the one piece I'd been dodging, the part I couldn't fix or buy or push from behind the scenes. Celeste would have to stand tall, look Leo in the eye, and tell the whole ugly truth. Set it up, I told Bernice, voice coming out gruffer than I meant. The line went quiet a second. Porter, you sure about putting her through this? I know exactly what I'm asking, but it's the only way that'll stick. By late June, I ditched the hotel for a little one-bedroom in Capitol Hill. Nothing special, just a saggy couch somebody left behind, a wobbly kitchen table with 3 mismatched chairs, but the morning sun poured in through the window, and the rent didn't bleed me dry. I was watching every penny now. This battle had already cost way more than dollars, and I figured it wasn't over yet. The hearing got scheduled for July 15th. 2 weeks out, Bernice called to say Celeste agreed to testify. How'd she sound? I asked right away, scared out of her mind, but ready all the same. Bernice hesitated. Porter, if she freezes up there, she won't. I cut in, more sure than I felt. You can't promise that. She's my daughter. I know her strength better than anybody. The morning of the hearing, I was up before the birds, brewed coffee I never touched, changed shirts twice because nothing felt right, got to the courthouse a full 40 minutes early and parked myself on a hallway bench, watching the world go by, lawyers hustling with briefcases, worried families clutching papers, even a guy in orange shuffling past in chains. Then I spotted Celeste coming down the hall with Bernice, wearing a plain gray dress I'd never seen, looking thinner than back in February, face drawn with dark circles under her eyes. But she held her head high, shoulders squared like she was marching into battle. When our eyes met, she didn't look away, not even for a second, and something in my chest loosened just a little. I stood up, aching to wrap her in the kind of hug I'd given her when she was little and the world still made sense, but she was still fragile. We were in public, and I wasn't sure she'd want it yet. You don't have to go through with this, I told her the second she reached me. We can hunt down another path. Her tone stayed soft but firm. No other path exists. And I'm worn out, Dad. So darn worn out. In the courtroom, we parked at one desk, Leo and Tom Brewster at the next. Leo wouldn't glance Celeste's way, or maybe couldn't bring himself to. His jaw locked tight, palms pressed flat on the surface like anchoring himself in place. Judge Karen Henderson took the bench, a lady in her 50s with iron gray locks and a no-frills stare. She pored over the bust filing, then eyed Bernice. Counselor, you're fighting the Lakewood spot in the bust assets. Yes, Honor. We say the other side snagged ownership via force and trickery. Go ahead. Celeste hit the witness box. Her palms stayed knit in her lap, digits woven snug. She skipped Leo, just the judge, then Bernice. Mrs. Spencer. Judge Henderson quizzed. Spill how your hubby landed as co-owner on the spot? Celeste's words barely topped a hush, but rang clear. 3 weeks post-wedding, Leo said update papers needed. Said wed folks share all. I didn't grasp no was an option. Pressure you? He claimed no trust to share pad meant no trust for marriage. Angry when said. Scared me. Bernice rose. Honor submit med logs past 2 years 6. ER trips hurts blamed slips accidents. Spread records bench. Seen pre-Bernice copies, but watched judge pour each sheet felt weight lift chest. Proof solid truth out. Tom Brewster pushed. Mrs. Spencer true willing sign title tweak? Celeste eyed him first. Signed. Willing wrong term. Judge still med logs face harder page. Hurts match home harm. Other side address? Honor client says accidents. Leo blue. Rose fast chair screech back. Lies. Plots with dad. Planned. Judge tone sharp blade. Mr. Spencer sit. More outburst out court. But Leo deaf. Point Celeste face flush. Said love me. Said. Bailiff stepped. Tom grabbed arm pull. Leo shook sat huffing eyes wild. Judge waited quiet, then spoke even final. Enough. Pad Lakewood gifted Celeste Hudson pre-wed. Spencer ad looks forced. Spot out bust shield off Spencer's list. Not done. Also temp order. Spencer vacates spot 48 hours Pendone final. Mrs. Spencer temp no contact. Spencer no touch or 500 feet. Re-meet 30 days final. Left court together Celeste me. Silent beside till my ride. Opened her door, she spoke. Should done 2 years back. Just no out till you returned. Drove my flat. No grand offer. 1 bed basic stuff, nothing like planned home, but secure. Now secure all. That eve Celeste window-eyed Denver outline. City glow dusk start. Now what? Quizzed. Pulled cell. Bernice email 10 min back. Header final meet aug 15. Now ended, I said. Faced me. First since knees scrub near smile. Okay, she said. End it. Final meet court quieter. Less gallery, less edge. Or me calmer, knowing close. Celeste beside hand's lap. Gained bit weight month. Not tons, but face less sunk. Simple navy dress hair back. Pro, compose nothing like knees hall scrub gal. Judge Henderson in. All rows sat. Open file specs adjust. Wrote ruling, she said, voice room carry. Post all spill proof review, court finds Leo Spencer deed add via force handle Celeste Spencer. Original Porter Hudson gift daughter stands. Spencer's claim void. Celeste hand mine under desk. Grip firm. Spot Lakewood back solo Celeste Hudson Spencer. Also Spencer broke temp no contact via third. Court finds pattern boss no law respect. Aisle over Leo slumped. Court pick lawyer Tom dropped post cash dry. Looked elsewhere wish. Honor lawyer Rose client appeal wish. Judge no look his right. But ruling final in force now. Appeal no hold order. Case shut. Outside court Bernice shades off. Can't afford appeal. Court pick lawyers no appeals. He'd got to hire private, he's flat broke. Good, I said, but want more. Civil file. Distress emo med bills all. Eyed me long. Could 6 months year. Don't care. Pay for done. Not just drop pad. Real pay. Jefferson County admin billed less court wow. Beige block buzz lights clerk's glass shield. Slid cashier check counter 8,500. Clerk tapped keys process. That's 8,500. Receipt printing. Lean off 5 biz days. Ensure record right, I said. No snags. Yes, sir, closes. Taxes square. Folded receipt wallet. 1 more clear. Bernice's spot later week. Celeste signed fresh title. Her name solo, no else. Feels odd, she said, pen hover. Sign own name mine. Bernice smiled. Not sharp pro softer. How meant 10 years back. Now right. Celeste self-drove therapy twice week. Offered rides, she know. Need some solo, she said. Respected but ensured my line available. Post-session hit my flat. Made Joe sat tiny table. How? Tired. Asked spill all think need. No must tell. Here. No dad. Voice gentle. Thanks. Civil suit crawled court's slower title. Bernice updated. Files, replies, pushes. Leo's court lawyer fought no real punch. Medlog spoke. October ruling hit 25K 500 month 5 years. He pay? Asked Bernice line. Must. Court ensures. Day labor billed now. Check garnish. Spencer builds official end. Saw papers Bernice forward. Leo self-filed. Dissolve box checks state forms ended once self. Henry told who told Rita who me. Leo futon spare demo 12 hour. Info far may like old school vague recall. Late August Bernice handed Celeste keys. New? Lock swapped post-judge sign. Celeste palm stared like vanish. Went back. Breath. Tomorrow, not solo. With you, I said. Eyed up. Help change? Walls paint? Shift stuff? No look like when he there. I done. Nodded. Make yours again. Promised. All yours. Pad smelled old open door. 5 weeks shut no air cool off. Celeste entry hover no move just I. Okay, I soft. Just pad now. He gone. Nod stepped. Started paint. Celeste picked hues. Warm creamed and soft blue bedlight yellow cook. Taped edges, cloths down windows, wide airflow. Cream or light blue? Quizzed samples wall. Your pad choice. Eyed. Blue? He said blue week. Perfect then. Painted 3 days over, Leo dark gray light warm cover. Celeste steady method I saw shoulders ease wall transform. Got interview tomorrow, she said mid-kitchen roll. Casual weather chat. Account firm downtown, Bernice pal suggest. Great. Majored account, right? 10 years back. Roller even. Leo said no work need he'd handle. Pause. Should known. No now matters. Furniture next. Hauled old couch curb. Leo pick stained sag. Back in Celeste floor where was eye space. Okay? Yeah. Rose jean dust. Room bigger sans it. Bought new together. No fancy clean simple. Cream couch, small eat table bed frame, Celeste pick, handwood nod. This, interview Thursday. Drove her downtown build lobby, wait phone, she up 14. 40 min later, cautious grin out. Offer job, wonderful. Start 2 weeks. Refresh some, learn soft, but eyed me. Dad job coming, life coming, I said. Those weeks my choices. Rang old Calgary boss, no return. Thanks chance stay Colorado. Kin reasons. Found tiny flat, 3 miles Celeste pad. 1 bed basic cook, rent fair landlord, no quiz. And signed Tuesday noon, first rent keys. When I broke the news to Celeste, her face creased with concern right away. Dad, you don't gotta sacrifice your whole career just for my sake. I'm not ditching it entirely, I shot back with a steady look. I'm picking what's truly vital now. And heck, I can handle consulting gigs right from this spot. Already fielded a couple inquiries from auto shops here in Denver. Folks needing advice on streamlining their ops. You positive about this? She pressed, searching my eyes like she was worried I'd regret it later. Dead sure, I replied without a hitch. I walked away once before, left you hanging when I should have stuck close. Ain't making that slip again, no way. It hit me then how much had shifted since I'd rolled back into town. 8 years abroad had carved deep lines in both our lives. But now I was planting roots firm in Colorado soil, close enough to drop by for coffee or lend a hand with whatever cropped up. Bernice rang me up around mid-August with an update I relayed to Celeste, almost casual, like mentioning the weather forecast. Leo skipped state lines, last check mailed from some Arizona zip code. Celeste was busy sorting volumes on those fresh-coated shelves we'd done up together, stacking classics next to her old college texts on finance and a few thrillers for light reading. She didn't even pivot around. All right, then, she muttered, and that was the end of it. Just all right, plain and simple. The guy who'd loomed so large in her world, casting shadows that stretched for years, had shrunk down to nothing more than a faded footnote, irrelevant as yesterday's news. No anger bubbling up, no tears, just moving on, which spoke volumes about how far she'd come, reclaiming her space one shelf at a time. On a warm, late August evening, we settled out on the front deck in those fresh chairs we'd snagged as a pair, basic wood ones I'd slapped a coat of white on to match the trim. I'd brewed up some joe, carried out 2 steaming cups, the kind with those wide handles that fit just right in your grip. The area around us hummed with quiet life. Kids pedaling bikes down the pavement, their laughter echoing soft. A neighbor 3 doors over firing up his mower for that last trim before dusk. The scent of fresh-cut grass drifting our way. Everyday noises, the sort that ground you, remind you life's ticking along steady without the chaos. Thanks, Celeste broke the calm. For sticking it out with me, not throwing in the towel. I made that vow the day you came into this world, to shield you no matter what, even if it meant squaring off against somebody you thought you cared for deep. I don't reckon I ever truly cared for him, she murmured low, gazing into her mug like the answer swirled in the black brew. Not in any real sense. I figure I was mostly scared stiff, trapped without a clue how to break free from the grip, but you did break free in the end. That's the key part that sticks. All thanks to you showing up when you did. I should have hustled back way earlier, caught the signs before they piled so high. She shook her head gentle, dismissing the regret. You arrived right when the need hit hardest. That's plenty, more than enough to square things. We lounged there wordless for a stretch, soaking in the fading glow as the horizon dipped from fiery orange to soft pink, then sank into a rich purple that blanketed the sky like a cozy throw. What's on your horizon now? I ventured after a bit, plugging away at the job, carving out a routine, piecing together who I really am without that constant shadow of fear hanging over every move. She shifted to face me direct, eyes clear and thoughtful. Heck, maybe that's all I need for the time being, just that solid ground. That's heaps more than plenty, I assured her, feeling a swell of pride for how she'd clawed her way back. The lamps along the street flickered to life one after another, automatic as clockwork, dependable like they flipped on every single night without fail, chasing away the creeping dark. Things are going to turn out all right, aren't they? Celeste mused, her words hanging more like a statement than a real question, testing the air. Darn right, I affirmed. They're already tipping that way, better than before. Right then, the deck light buzzed on overhead, that motion detector I'd wired up just that afternoon doing its job seamless. Celeste tilted her chin up to eye it, a small grin tugging at her lips. I dig that feature, she noted. How it kicks in all on its own, no fuss. Means I never got to pull up to a pitch-black home after a long day. Little stuff like that. Basic safeguards, those quiet everyday beats, that's exactly what I'd battled tooth and nail for, what we'd claimed back together through the mess. Out past the border in some dusty little Arizona burg, Leo Spencer was piecing together a fresh start, scraping by and mailing off that $500 monthly to atone for the wreckage he'd left in his wake. I barely spared him a thought anymore, and from what I could tell, neither did Celeste, her mind freed up for brighter paths. He'd robbed her of 2 full years, stolen chunks of her spirit, and in turn we'd stripped him bare of every scrap he'd built. His biz, his hold on the pad, his swagger. The scales didn't balance perfect, no clean equation there, but it rang true as justice in my book. And sometimes, when the dust settles, that's the top you can aim for, the best hand life deals. We polished off our Joe as the stars poked through the velvet night, twinkling like distant promises. February swung around once more. Hauling along the mark of that day, I'd cruised down Maple Drive and stumbled on my girl down on her knees, scrubbing like her worth depended on it. A full year since the storm kicked off, half that since we'd slammed the door on it for good. I rolled up to Celeste's place that Saturday morn, the same structure but worlds apart from the rundown shell it had been. Grass out front, lush and neat trimmed, like a welcoming carpet. Fresh rose plants hugged the base, ones she'd sunk into the dirt back in October, picking types that flowered across seasons to keep color popping year-round. Those blue shutters gleamed new-painted, crisp and spotless against the white exterior. The front window's old split long fixed, fresh pane grabbing the morning rays and tossing them back like a wink. Celeste swung the door wide before my knuckles even tapped. Decked in jeans and a Colorado State hoodie, hair yanked into a tail. She looked solid, not just body-wise. Yeah, she'd packed on the pounds she'd dropped, cheeks rosy again, but deeper, like her old spark had reignited, shining through. Bang on time, she greeted with a warm step aside to usher me in. Inside hit even harder with the overhaul. Every corner tweaked, refreshed, reborn. Walls we'd rolled together now sported frames, scenic shots, swirly art pieces, a stark black and white of the Rockies that caught the light just so. Furniture we'd hunted down, arranged in setups she'd fiddled with till they clicked perfect, cozy without clutter. Shelves brimmed with reads, from dog-eared novels to glossy mags. Greenery perched in windows, leaves perky and thriving under her care. Kitchen had a wall calendar, her tidy script jotting meats. Office huddles, therapy slots Tuesdays and Thursdays. Lunch date with Monica Buddy next week. Note to ring her dad come Sunday. Joe? She offered. You bet. As she poured, I clocked the subtle shifts. How she glided through the space sure-footed, grabbing mugs and spoons without a second guess. That new hum she let slip while bustling, a light tune under her breath. Gone was the twitchy vigilance that had marked her days, the constant shoulder peaks, ear perked for steps, that wired edge she'd carried like a shadow too long. We plunked at her kitchen table, the sturdy one we'd chosen side by side. Work treating you all right? I probed. Solid, real solid actual. Hands-wrapped mug, handing me a heftier account to oversee. A make firm with tangled ledgers. Richard figures I can handle it. Richard, her supervisor, she'd dropped his name pray. Thoughtful type, precise in his ways, valued clean work and straight talk. Kind of leader who dished tips and gave room to stretch. That's top-notch. Got butterflies, she owned up. But the positive kind, the sort that pushes you to nail it. You'll knock it out, she grinned. Dr. Chen reckons I'm hitting strides. Diving into boundaries these days, sorting when folks are bossy versus just picky. Trickier than it sounds on paper. Dr. Chen, her counselor, the pro she'd stuck with twice weekly for half a year now. Celeste brought her up regular, always with that weary nod of respect, like praising a strict coach who got results. Sleeping sounder? I checked. Mostly, yeah. Nightmares pop now and then, but rarer. Sip Joe. Last month dreamed the pad ablaze. I snapped awake in a panic and walked through every room in the place before it finally sank in that none of it was actually happening. Once I realized I was safe in my own home and the threat was only in my head, I lay back down and eventually fell asleep again. For me, that really felt like progress. When I told Dr. Chen about it, she agreed and said that being able to tell the difference between old trauma and what's really happening now is a big step forward. We moved on to other topics, like my consulting work. I'd landed 3 steady clients, small shops that needed help tightening up their systems, improving efficiency, and handling day-to-day management without falling apart. I also told her about Celeste's world, her friend Monica, who she'd met through a book club she joined, and the garden Celeste was already planning for the spring, with a whole list of vegetables she wanted to experiment with growing. I got something in the mail yesterday, Celeste said after a little pause. From Arizona. I put my coffee mug down. The payment? She nodded. Yeah, $500, right on time. He had never missed one. She watched my face carefully. Does it bother you that he's actually paying? I thought about it for a second. No. If anything, it shows the system is doing what it's supposed to do. He doesn't get to just pretend nothing happened and walk away. Every single month he has to remember. I added, I don't really think about him that much anymore. Celeste said, sometimes I wonder if that makes me cold, like I'm supposed to hate him more or obsess over what he did all the time or something. I shook my head. To me, that means you're getting healthy. He doesn't deserve any more space in your head. She nodded slowly, letting that sink in. Dr. Chen says the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. And I think that's where I am now. He's just somebody who used to be in my life. Someone who hurt me, but he's not part of my life anymore. I told her, that's exactly how it should be. Later on, we drove over to the hardware store together. Celeste wanted to look at paint colors for the bathroom, the last room in the house she hadn't updated yet. We wandered up and down the aisles, flipping through paint sample cards and debating whether a soft seafoam green or a light pale aqua would work better. What do you think? She asked, holding up 2 color chips for me to compare. Your house, your call, I said, and she laughed. You always say that, she replied, because it's always true. While we waited in the checkout line, I noticed her eyes drift toward a couple nearby, a man snapping at his wife with sharp words and a quick, dismissive hand gesture. I saw Celeste tense up, her shoulders pulling in, that old instinctive response starting. Then she took a slow breath, consciously let her body relax, and turned her gaze away, choosing not to let someone else's drama climb into her head, guarding her peace on purpose. Those small moments were what healing really looked like. We loaded the paint cans into her car afterward. She'd bought a used sedan back in November, a little symbol of freedom sitting on 4 wheels. I drove behind her back to her place and helped carry all the supplies inside. You want to stay for lunch? She asked. I'm making soup. Yeah, I'd like that, I said. While she chopped and stirred in the kitchen, I put together the new bathroom cabinet she'd ordered online. It was simple work, just following the instructions, lining up the pieces, turning screws with a screwdriver, using my hands. It felt almost meditative, satisfying because it was so straightforward. No hidden agendas, no emotional landmines, just wood, hardware, and the right tools for the job. Over lunch, Celeste told me about a date she'd gone on the week before. A guy named David she'd met through Monica. They'd grabbed coffee at a little downtown cafe and talked about books, hiking trails they liked, and the kind of cheesy old movies they'd both loved as kids. Are you going to see him again? I asked. Maybe, she said. He asked, and I told him I'd think about it. She slowly stirred her soup. Dr. Chen says I need to be careful not to rush into anything, to take my time and really get to know someone before I trust them. She added, but she also says I can't stay scared forever. There has to be a balance. Yeah, I said, and you're working on finding that balance. She looked up at me. It feels weird, honestly, learning how to date in my 30s. I feel like I'm doing everything backwards. You're doing everything at the right time, I told her. Your time. After we finished eating, I went back to helping her start on painting the bathroom. We worked in that easy, comfortable silence that only happens when you know someone well enough that you don't have to fill every second with talk. The seafoam green rolled over the old beige on the walls, slowly turning that tiny bathroom into a brighter, calmer space. When I headed out that evening, Celeste walked me to the door. The porch light clicked on as we stepped outside, the motion sensor doing exactly what it was supposed to do. Same time next week? She asked, and I said, same time. She gave me a quick, tight hug. Thank you, Dad, for everything. I told her she didn't need to thank me, and she said, I know, but I want to. I drove back to my apartment as the sun slipped down, the sky turning shades of orange and purple like someone had painted it on. The city stretched out around me, full of people just trying to live their lives, fighting their own battles, figuring out their own paths. Somewhere down in Arizona, Leo Spencer was probably wrapping up his shift at whatever construction site had hired him. After that, he'd go back to whatever small place he could afford, sit down at a table, write a check for $500, and drop it in the mail to the address the court papers listed. 4.5 more years of that. 4.5 more years of monthly reminders of everything he'd thrown away. I didn't hate him anymore. Honestly, I didn't think about him much at all, except in moments like this. And even then, he was more like background noise than the main focus. In my mind, he was a problem I'd already solved, a threat I'd already neutralized. All that emotional energy I'd once spent on taking him down had been redirected into building something better. Celeste had her house back, her life back, and most importantly, herself back. That had always been the point. Not revenge just to feel like I got even, but a kind of justice that opened up room for healing. Not destroying things just to watch them fall apart, but clearing out the wreckage so something new and healthy could grow. When I got home, I made myself dinner, checked my email, and read for a while before going to bed. It was a totally ordinary night. Nothing dramatic about it at all, except for the fact that it stood for something I'd fought hard to protect. It meant my daughter could have ordinary nights too. Safe, simple evenings that were quiet and maybe even a little boring, in the best possible way. My phone buzzed on the table. Celeste had texted, "Bathroom's done. Looks amazing. Thank you for your help today," I wrote back. "Anytime. Proud of you." Her reply came almost right away. "Proud of us both?" I set the phone down and looked out my window at the Denver skyline. Lights were blinking on one by one as the dark settled in. Thousands of windows glowing. Thousands of lives and stories unfolding behind walls and glass. This had been my story. A father who came back. A daughter who found her strength. A man who realized that sometimes love means you step up and fighting means being strategic, patient, and willing to be tough when you have to. I'd spent 8 years up in Calgary building someone else's business while my daughter was suffering in a house I'd given her as a gift. That failure is something I'll always carry with me, a scar that doesn't disappear, but I came back. I fought. I won. Not perfectly and not without losing things along the way, but I did enough. Celeste is healing now. She's working. She's slowly learning to trust herself again, to make her own choices, to build the life she wants instead of the one someone else tried to force on her. To me, that's what justice looks like. That's enough. If you enjoyed this story, please hit the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel, and share what you thought about it in the comments. And if you want to hear the next story, just click on the box on the left. Thanks for watching.